You have political ambition? Is that true?
No, but people keep asking me if I'm running for president. And I don't know, I might. I'm serious. I don't know. I might because people keep asking me to do it or if I'm going to do it. And I look around, and I see the folks who are, possibly in the running, and some of them are impressive. Many of them, most of them are not. And it seems in this day and age, you don't have to have a ton of political experience because our current president had none.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So Don Lemon, who's facing criminal charges up in Minneapolis for raiding a church, allegedly, has announced in an interview that there's a possibility he'll run for president. And he's getting closer and closer to making a decision because everyone has been asking him to run for president. And Don Lemon went as far as to imply that he'll be a better president than President Trump. You just cannot make this stuff up. The delusion is real. But here's a video of Don Lemon basically saying he's been doing all the logistical research and everything to figure out what he'll need to run for president. Watch this.
Dig into this for a second, though. Have you looked at the logistics of doing this? Have you looked at potentially putting a team together, an exploratory team? Like, how far into this are you?
I've stuck my toe into it, if you want to put it that way, or I've dabbled. I've talked to people about it, people who have been in politics before. What would it take? When would I have to get in to do it? And I'd have to be really serious about it. And then they tell me, you can't tell these types of stories during dinner parties if you want to be president of the United States. But yeah, I'm saying, because I like to.
That was Don Lemon confirming that he's been doing the research, figuring out the logistics, figuring out everything that he'll need to run for president because Don Lemon really wants to become president. He's been talking to people that's been in politics. And this is to show you that Don Lemon is serious about running for president. So don't be surprised when maybe a few months from now, Don Lemon will actually announce that he's running for president, that he's actually announced, because he's doing all these media interviews and all these different things, teasing that everyone wants him to run for president. And here we have that part of the interview where Don Lemon implied that President Trump isn't a good president and that Don Lemon himself will be a great president. Watch this.
Seems in this day and age, you don't have to have a ton of political experience because our current president had none, and
Right.
that's very obvious. I think that he could have done a better job if he would actually listen to people, but he doesn't. He thinks he knows everything. But I actually think I would be a really good president of the United States.
Okay, like you're being serious.
No, I'm being totally serious.
So what would it take?
For the people to want me, what it would take is if I ran a political campaign, a presidential campaign, I would like to run it, and I don't know if this is realistic or not, without having to beg for money. I know that the economy's tough. The current president is not doing a great job for the working class people, for the American economy. He's doing a fantastic job for his rich friends and for people who happen to have 401ks and investments. He's doing a great job for those folks. I'd say us folks, I'm included in that. I'm the beneficiary of his tax policies.
That was Don Lemon saying he'd be a great president and that he wants to be a man for the people or a politician for the people. And what I want you to do, I want you to let me know in the comment section, would you support Don Lemon? Would you vote for him? Because he wants that grassroots support. Would you support Don Lemon? That's what I want to know. But here we have Don Lemon continuing to compare himself to our great president, Donald J. Trump. Take a listen to this.
But you know what, Don? You're such a person that I could absolutely see running for president.
Yeah.
Like, not even joking.
Yes. Why not? Why not?
Why not?
Look, I'm not saying that I'm going to do it, but why not? My parents taught me growing up that I could be anything that I wanted.
Absolutely.
And so if Donald Trump could be president, why can't I be president? So I might do it. Who knows?
The reason why Donald Trump can become president and you cannot is because he's Donald Trump and you are Don Lemon. It's not rocket science. Anyone can figure it out. And your mom told you you could be anything that you want to be, and you chose to become a... Never mind, I don't want YouTube to ban me, but the phrase that Nicki Minaj called him. But I'll leave it at that. If you don't know what it is, go Google it. You'll figure it out. But Don Lemon wanted to become president of the United States when he couldn't keep a job at CNN. How does that even make sense? He got fired by CNN for being too woke, and he thinks that he's going to somehow run for president and become president of these United States. And just to show you how delusional Don Lemon is, here we have a video of Don Lemon on the streets trying to conduct street interviews. And this guy immediately recognized him and called him out on the spot. And this is how a majority of Americans feel, in my opinion, towards Don Lemon. Watch this.
How you doing, sir? Can we talk to you? Where are you from? You live in New York?
Who are you?
Don Lemon.
You're a fucking moron, dude.
Thank you. So are you.
Yeah, oh, that's very nice of you
Yeah,
to say.
nice to
except,
see you.
except you've never heard anything I've had to say, and I've heard a
Who are
whole
you?
bunch of what you've
I'm
had
glad
to
you
say.
watched me.
No, I don't.
Why?
But you just get clipped everywhere.
I know, but why don't you? You said you don't watch me, but yet you know who I am, and I get clipped.
Before I realized that CNN and MSNBC were full of shit, every once in a while I'd see
What do you watch?
talking. I watch all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, but why do you say CNN and MSNBC are full of shit?
Because they lie.
But about what? Be
Everything.
specific. What's everything?
Everything.
Imagine being so bad at your job where you got fired because Don Lemon got fired by CNN, and you're in the street and someone regular recognized you because you were so terrible at your job. And something that we have to keep in mind too is that after being fired by CNN, Don Lemon went over to Elon Musk, and Elon Musk actually invited him over to X to bring his show onto X. And Don Lemon just bombed that entire thing because he's a terrible person. And Elon Musk ended up firing Don Lemon. And now he wants to become president of the United States. It just doesn't make sense to me. And another part of the interview that I want to highlight is where Don Lemon, this is what he had to say in regards to MAGA. This is how Don Lemon feels about MAGA.
You think that once Donald Trump is gone, it's the end of MAGA? I don't know if it's the end of that sort of attitude. I mean, the MAGA is the closest thing to the modern version of a Nazi party. This is America's version. It's the closest thing without the Holocaust and all that stuff. That sort of mindset. That's what MAGA is, because most intelligent people or logical people, when they get new information, and if that information is negative or not factual, then they change their minds when they go, oh, well, I wish I had known better. And now that I have this information, then I can readjust. No matter what no matter how many facts and how much information you give them about this presidency, about the policies, they don't change their minds, because they're really not voting for the price of eggs. They're voting for white supremacy. They're voting for power. They're voting to have a preeminent voice.
So Don Lemon literally just described the left and called it MAGA. And he's saying that MAGA is brainwashed. And all you have to do is go back and look at what happened under Biden to see how brainwashed the left was, or they still are. And if you look at what happened under Biden with the borders, Biden left the borders wide open, and there were tons of illegal immigrants coming into the country. But according to the left, they were saying, well, Biden couldn't do anything in regards to the borders. And then President Trump came in and sealed the borders shut. No one is coming in. And then you saw what happened to Biden. He was literally falling apart because he was cognitively declined. And the left, they told you that Biden is perfectly fine. When Biden couldn't make a speech, they were like, oh, he has a stutter. That is it. When we know that the guy would wake up at 10 a.m. and go to bed at 4 p.m., right? They were saying he was working the whole day. He was working too much. But that brings us to the end of this video. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below in regards to Don Lemon planning to run for president. And let me know if you'd vote for him or if you'd support him. Also, please consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.